Hello everybody. So continue with our series Coping with COVID. This is number 17. I want to talk about loneliness today. Loneliness is important, and the reason for bringing it up, of course, is because what we've had happening is that we've been cooped up, sheltering in place, masks, social distancing, avoiding settings that we would like to go to, avoiding restaurants, and all these things. And that has just led to a lot of people being lonely. Particularly true for older people who might be a widow or widower. They kind of depend upon getting out and about to kind of interact with other people. Social engagement is extremely, extremely important to us as human beings. When we can't have that social engagement, things really can change. So that's just the story of what's been happening with what we have to do now to prevent getting infected. So, let's talk first about what I'll call situational loneliness. Usually think of situational loneliness as, for example, the person who just lost a spouse, or maybe a very trusted, loving companion pet, like a dog. This is situational loneliness. There's a lot of grief, but what usually happens over time, that loneliness starts to dissipate. But it can be quite severe. And what's happening now with all the needs we have as a result of the coronavirus, the pandemic, that situational loneliness can really be accentuated, really be extended, so that that person just remains lonely for a much longer period of time. So that's the situational loneliness, and it's something that we need to think about and pay attention from our own perspective. Do I have it? And if so, I'll come back to some thoughts in a minute. On the other side, do you know someone in that situation? And if you do, there's things we can each do to be helpful. So again, it's a community. We're a community, and we need to look out for each other. And loneliness can be kind of hidden. Somebody may not admit to it, or they might talk about it, but you should be able to pick it up, whether it's you or somebody you know. Now what happens, or can happen at least, is that the lonely person stops doing things that they ought to do regularly all the time. And the pandemic has just accentuated this dramatically. So not eating well, not sleeping well, being stressed, of course, not getting some exercise, not going out for a walk, whatever. So this just builds up and builds up and builds up, layer after layer after layer. So this becomes, on top of everything else, quite intense, if you will, loneliness, even if they don't tell you about it, even if they don't show it. So if you are someone who's having these feelings of loneliness, my suggestion to you, remember your friends may not know it, they may not realize it. Reach out to them. Reach out and talk by phone, by email, maybe not by email so much, but by phone, by Zoom, by Skype, or put your mask on and invite somebody to come outside and sit out there with you and just have a chat. Remember, 6 feet apart, but with a mask on, but have a chat. And your friends will probably be quite responsive. Now, if you're the friend, be responsive. Be responsive, because this person needs to talk. What you want to do is just open them up a little bit with some open-ended questions. Let them tell you their story. Don't ask the yes/no type of question. Give them an opportunity to speak and to let you know sort of what's going on. That can be very, very helpful to the lonely person. But it's not hard to do, and I'm sure most of us would like to do it for the other person. So it's just a matter of being tuned in, pay attention, and you'll see, Charlie or Susie or whoever could use a little bit of talk time, if you will. Not talking psychiatry here, we're just talking about friends getting together and having a chat. And it can make a huge, huge difference. Now there's another type of loneliness called perceptual loneliness. And this often kind of comes on the heels of this type of chronic situational loneliness. Most people in the situational loneliness, they'll get over it over time because the situation changes. Although the COVID requirements are certainly not changing very rapidly. So, and we're going to be wearing these masks for a long time. Now, the thing is, people become this sense of perceptual loneliness or isolation, really, and they assume now, whether right or wrong, fair or not fair, that nobody cares. I just don't think you care about me anymore. I'm sure that if I were to call you and say, can we get together, you'd say, no, I'm busy. I'm sure that if I were to look for something else, a social worker, for example, the social worker would say, no, I don't have time right now. Or maybe, you know, in 2 weeks or whatever. So my perception is nobody cares, and therefore I won't reach out because I don't want to be denied another time, rejected another time. Because I'm pretty sure you will reject me, so I don't want to take the chance that I'll be rejected another time. It becomes this self-fulfilling sort of prophecy. So what to do? It's the same thing. The person with perceptual loneliness is going to take more effort on your part to start with if you want to help. They're not very likely to reach out to you. In fact, if you do, you might get pushed away. You might get pushed back. Because remember, they don't think you want to help. They don't think you care. So you can start with small things, though, and kind of build up. You know, just a little chat, or leave a note, whatever. But don't let the opportunity go by. Try and be helpful, and just give them a call once in a while. Leave a note on the doorstep, whatever. Encourage them to come outside for a chat. You can do a lot of things like that that don't take a lot of time, don't take a lot of energy, but can be extremely, extremely helpful to that lonely person. And then, as a follow-up step onto that, once they're comfortable with you and realize that, oh, you really do care about them, then you could say something to them about, well, could I talk to social work, have a social worker come to see you? Or could I take you to the doctor's office or the nurse practitioner's office? They won't go on their own, but if you were to say, listen, let me make an appointment for you, and I'll go with you. Let me take you over. Make a big difference. So those are just some thoughts. Loneliness is pervasive, particularly in this setting right now. So it just, again, as I've said before, we're a community. We can help each other, and in so doing, can help a lot of people that are really suffering and stressed right now, whether it's loneliness or something else. But loneliness is a real common problem right now. As long as we're behind these masks, we're going to, and social distancing, avoiding the settings we need to avoid, loneliness is very common. So do reach out, do recognize it when someone's lonely. And if you're not even sure, still reach out. Worst thing that can happen is they'll say, no, I don't want to get together with you. You can handle it. It's okay. So thank you very much. Look forward to seeing you next time.